Hi everyone, my name is Suzanne and I'm a Chinese metaphysics master in Hong Kong. Today I'm going to continue with my series on Sun Tzu's Art of War. We are looking into the 36 stratagems, and today we are going to take a deeper look into stratagem number 3 in Sun Tzu's Art of War. And again, as mentioned in the previous sessions, if you haven't watched the Stratagem 1 and Stratagem 2 analysis, you can find them on my YouTube channel. This is particularly interesting for business owners, professionals, or even if you work from home with a side gig, or if you're trying to advance in your career, because these kind of stratagems are helpful to overcome opposition. They are helpful if you need to overcome competitors, be that in the marketplace or in your own companies, to advance further in your career. This is why we are looking into these stratagems. So again, today we are looking at the third stratagem out of the 36. And the first thing you need to do is plot your Baza chart, because depending on what your Baza chart is comprised of, you will have more or less affinity with stratagem number 3. So you can go to this link here and just plot your chart. If you don't know your time of birth, that's not the end of the world, yeah. It's always better if you know it, but if you don't, then you can simply continue just with the date of birth. And once you have your Baza chart plotted, what we are particularly interested in is the animal signs that you have here in the year, the month, the day, and the hour. Yeah, so here you will see 4 different animal signs. Your chart may have also 4 different ones, or maybe one is duplicated. Doesn't really matter which way it goes. Just take note of the animal signs that you have anywhere in your natal chart. Because the 36 stratagems, even though we can use all 36 of them in any given situation, some of them will work better for us. Some of them we have a knack for, some of them we have really affinity with, and that's because we have certain animal signs in our Baza chart that help us with that affinity. So first step, plot your chart, and then we are going to have a look at this third strategy, which is called Kill with a Borrowed Sword. Now, this particular stratagem is especially useful if you have the ox and or the goat in your chart. So if you have one ox and one goat in the chart, this will work really well for you. If you only have the ox or only the goat in your chart, this will also work for you, maybe not 100%, but you definitely have an affinity with this particular stratagem. Now, killing with a borrowed knife essentially means that you need to use the strengths of others when you are in a situation that is not favorable to you. So maybe you are much, much weaker than your opponent or your competitor. Maybe you have less support from others surrounding you than your competitor, and therefore you need to find a different way to attack the opponent, otherwise you're going to lose. So when your strength is not as favorable as the others, or if it would expose you, then you are requested to kill with a borrowed knife, meaning you need to involve someone else or some different tool to actually get to your enemy, your competitor, your opponent. So in essence, let others fight the fight for you. Now, what does this mean in practical terms? So you can, for example, let's say if you want to enter a new market, a completely new country, for example, you want to expand your business into a different country. And there may be others who are doing exactly the same that you are doing, offering the same services, the same products that you are offering. So already you are in a weaker position because they are on their home turf and you are entering, right? So in order to then use the stratagem number 3, you need to use local partners. Partner up with local people, local business partners who know the market, who are already established, and who can slowly bring you in. Yeah, work in joint ventures. And it will also help you to maneuver through local bureaucracy, for example, and avoid direct liability issues. If you are a local business, so it's not about entering a new market, you're already a local business, and you see that your competitors or your opponents are much, much stronger than you, have more resources, maybe more money, then maybe think about using licensing or franchising as your borrowed knife. Because once you have a license or a franchise in your back, backing you up, you automatically become much stronger. So you're basically aligning yourself with an existing brand that is already there, that is already powerful, and that can help you outmaneuver your competitor. Now, obviously, there's other ways as well. So you can use in a career context, for example, you can use third parties like a consultant or subcontractors to deliver bad news, for example, to implement change management, to fire people. Those are that will leave you with less exposure, right? If it's a third person that actually does these things. These consultants, they come in to restructure your company, for example, and they're emotionally very detached from the situation. And so therefore it gives you less exposure, and that will help you in case you have to make very difficult layoffs, for example. You can also use the same tactic if you need to work with contract workers and you don't want to expose yourself. You can just use middlemen. Yeah, so this entire strategy about killing with a borrowed knife is all about using a third party, using a middleman to eventually get to your goal. You can also align yourself with certain organizations, high profile organizations, for example, or volunteer associations. Volunteer with them, make sure that your brand is associated with this particular association, especially if it's something that has to do with charity, volunteering, and all of these things. And that elevates your name and makes you stronger. It carries your name on their back, yeah? And of course, surround yourself with as many resourceful people as possible who can lift the burden off your shoulder and do certain things for you or on your behalf in order to kind of chip away at the strength of your opponent. So these are a few things that you can do. But again, if you are in a position where you are for some reason weaker than your opponent, and you have either the ox or the goat or both in your chart, then think about how you can best use this particular strategy to slowly but surely chip away at the strength of your opponent and then take over, ideally. All right. I hope this helped. I hope this explanation helped a little bit clear up what this stratagem is all about. If you have any questions, please feel free to get in touch with me. My contact details are in the notes below. And I would really appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel, if you shared, if you liked the video, that would be awesome. Anything to put the word out. And I will see you soon.